The following content is for mature audiences only. They walk among us. We know they are out there, but not who they are. In this special investigation, we look into the world of the top 5 currently active international serial killers. We'll explore the cases that baffle investigators, the patterns that terrify communities, and the relentless pursuit of justice. From poisoned drinks to piles of body parts in abandoned buildings, the USA isn't the only place in the world where serial killers exist. So, buckle up, because we're going global into the 5 scariest serial killers who are still on the loose today. Number 5. The Rainbow Maniac. Between July 2007 and August 2008, something deeply sinister was happening in Pituras Park. 13 men were murdered in cold blood in the same park in Carapicuíba, Brazil. Soon, the place would become a hunting ground for a predator, infamously known as the Rainbow Maniac. Why the name? Well, because he didn't just kill random people. He targeted gay men between the ages of 20 and 40 with precision. All the victims, except for one, died of gunshot wounds. The odd one out died from ruthless blows to the head. The very first case emerged on July 4th, 2007. And the last known murder occurred on March 15, 2009, of a gay man who was shot 12 times. As investigations continue, there are still no leads found, and authorities consider the possibility that the Rainbow Maniac might be one of them, a police officer. On December 10, 2008, there was a possibility of closing the case, as police arrested a retired state police sergeant, Jairo Francisco Franco, as a potential suspect. Witnesses stepped forward, talking about Franco's alleged involvement in the bloodshed that stained Pituras Park. One witness claimed that one night he saw Franco shoot a black gay man 12 times, while another said that Franco went to Pituras Park regularly to look for gay men to target. But these testimonies held no weight because there was no proof. Franco was eventually set free on August 23, 2011, leaving the community to struggle with unanswered questions. No one behind bars, and no justice. To this day, nobody knows who the Rainbow Maniac really is, and there are still no suspects. Number 4. The Ibadan Forest Serial Killers. Deep within the shadows of Nigeria's Oyo State lies a place forever etched in horror, the Ibadan Forest. Here, amidst the dense trees, stood a cluster of dilapidated buildings, empty shells to the unsuspecting eye. But on March 2, 2014, a search party of concerned motorcycle taxi drivers stumbled upon a horrifying truth. Their missing colleague fueled their search, leading them to the seemingly abandoned structures. What they found chilled their bones to the core. 23 survivors, clinging to life after enduring days of suffering. But the nightmare had only just begun. The forest floor held a grim story of its own. Countless decomposing bodies and scattered body parts painted a picture of unthinkable cruelty. The community called them ritualistic murders. Theories pointed towards affluent Nigerians, even politicians, seeking dark power through human sacrifice. Public outrage erupted, with accusations that the Oyo State Police had ignored a string of kidnappings, allowing this horror to fester. Survivors, forever scarred, recounted their capture, lured by promises of safety and prosperity by men posing as government officials. The masterminds behind this evil remains faceless, their cases unsolved. The buildings on the site have since been demolished and have been redeveloped into a school. The Ibadan Forest Serial Killer, one person or many? Are they still out there? The answer remains unknown. What do you think? Number 3. The Monster of the Andes. His real name is Pedro Alonso Lopez, and it's known that he killed at least 110 people, likely as much as 300. But despite knowing who is responsible, this serial killer is still on the loose. But how? He was born in Colombia in 1948, the 7th of 13 children that were born to a prostitute. His childhood was filled with abuse, and soon it began to show in his behavior. In 1969, Pedro was sentenced to 7 years in prison for auto theft. But what happened next was the thing of nightmares. While behind bars, his 3 fellow inmates assaulted him. Pedro ended up killing them all and earned himself a 2-year extension on his sentence. Upon his release in 1978, Lopez began a journey across South America, claiming the lives of over 100 girls, mostly street children and indigenous tribeswomen. Lopez's reign of terror came to a brief halt when an indigenous tribe captured him in Peru after a failed attempt to abduct a young girl. Sadly, this wouldn't be the end. Lopez managed to escape and continue his killing spree, eluding the authorities as they chalked the surge in missing persons cases to human trafficking. It wasn't until the floodwaters of Ibadan, Ecuador, that the grim truth was revealed. The flood unearthed the remains of at least a dozen girls who had been reported missing. Lopez's arrest soon followed after another failed abduction attempt, and despite initially remaining silent, he would eventually confess to his crimes, boasting about his 300-plus murder spree across multiple countries. He was convicted and sentenced to only 16 years in Garcia Moreno prison. Lopez served his time but was released early in 1994 for good behavior, and his release was the beginning of another chilling chapter. In 1995, he was deported to Colombia, where they tried to convict him of murder, but he was declared insane and admitted to a psychiatric institution. In 1998, he was declared sane and bail was set for $50. After being set free, he asked his mother for his inheritance money, and then he found out she was poor, so he sold all of her things to people on the streets and then vanished. He has not been seen since, and is believed to be connected to a murder in 2002, with Interpol having issued warrants for his arrest. In Colombia, it is rumored and believed that he was murdered by a vigilante after his release. What do you think? Number 2. The Danilovsky Maniac. This is the case of a Russian serial killer who terrorized the city of Cherepovets in Vologda Oblast by allegedly committing at least 7 murders between 2004 and 2007. The name stems from the killer's preferred location, an abandoned construction site on Danilovsky Street, where 3 of the murders occurred. The magnitude of the case was immense, with 18 volumes of investigation by 2008 and over 200 individuals interviewed. The city's mayor even offered a hefty reward of 500,000 rubles to anyone aiding in the capture of this elusive maniac. His first murder in February 2004, Marina Ostrovskaya, a 17-year-old girl who planned to visit the family of her fiancé, who served in the army and often wrote letters to her which he passed on through his parents. Leaving work for a lunch break at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Marina decided to take a shortcut. She went through a vacant lot on Danilovsky Street. However, Marina never made it to her destination. Her parents ran to the police, but investigators did not manage to find her. The girl disappeared without a trace. In August 2004, while the search for Marina was still going on, the body of a 19-year-old girl student, Irina Popova, was found in the Patinsky wasteland, having been abused and strangled. The sinister pattern continued. 22-year-old Tatiana Baiva, 17-year-old Tatiana Maximova, 31-year-old Ludmila Miroshnichenko, and 19-year-old Svetlana Stepanova, between 2004 and 2005, all died in a similar manner. The last confirmed killing was of 17-year-old Natalia Zakalova on June 11, 2007. But the Danilovsky maniac was suspected of several more murders even after this. It is believed he was involved in a 2010 murder in Vologda, and again in 2011 in Cherepovets. Despite investigations, the perpetrator remains at large. Law enforcement speculates that if alive, he could be between 58 and 73 years old. To this day, nobody knows where the Danilovsky maniac is. Some believe that he could have died by now. Others think he may still be out there. Some think he was let go by the police in 2008 when a Cherepovets resident caused a stir in the community when he dragged 2 girls into the bushes. The attacker was detained and charged for murder of his girlfriend. But DNA evidence was inconclusive and not tied to the other murders. Do you think this was the Danilovsky maniac? Number 1. The Vending Machine Killer. Japan's fascination with vending machines is widely recognized, with there being 5 million of them scattered across the country. There is one vending machine for every 23 people. They dispense anything from ice cream, rice, cameras, noodles, tea, alcohol, and even toiletries like shampoo. But between April and November 1985 in Hiroshima, this convenience turned deadly. On April 30th, 1985, a 45-year-old truck driver from Hiroshima purchased a drink from a vending machine. As his drink was being dispensed, he noticed a new bottle of Oranaman C sitting atop a machine. So he snatched it up and drank it. 1 month later, he was dead. An analysis of his vomit showed traces of paraquat, a deadly weed killer that's banned in 32 countries, and as a chemical that had been used by over 1,400 people in Japan in 1984 to end their own lives. An investigation was opened after several deaths, and it revealed a disturbing connection. Most of the victims recently drank Oranaman C, which was a popular drink. And at the time, Oranaman C was being promoted to the public by the Otsuka pharmaceutical company. Coincidentally, the company had just launched a promotional campaign offering free bottles of Oranaman C from vending machines with each purchase. In Japanese culture, it's not uncommon for people to leave unwanted drinks on top of vending machines for others to take. This innocent courtesy cost 12 people their lives due to paraquat poisoning, while another 35 suffered severe injuries. To give you a better understanding of the effects of paraquat, even on the surface of the skin, exposure causes severe irritation, with blistering and erosion of the skin. Basically, it causes chemical burns. But when it's consumed, death is certain and agonizing, because it causes rapid inflammation of tissue surrounding major blood vessels and airways, and it literally burns holes through the victim's throat. There is no antidote. It was clear at this point that someone had been tampering with Oranaman C bottles, lacing them with paraquat, and putting them on top of vending machines. Despite exhaustive efforts from law enforcement, the person responsible for these acts managed to evade capture, and to this day, his or her influence still lingers. Copycats had emerged, spreading to Tokyo and central Japan. But still, there is not one single suspect for any of the murders. What cases did I miss? Let me know in the comments. Before you go, remember to slash that subscribe button like Wolverine's claws into a Deadpool meat suit. And before you go, stop on my channel and check out one of my other videos. We put a lot of time and energy into these, and you won't be disappointed. We have everything from Nikola Tesla's mysterious inventions and conspiracies, to the Ninja Turtles' origins and history in video games, to the OceanGate scandal, to the existence of aliens in space and nuclear isomers, and even the WWE. Come on, just stop by and check out a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.